I've got my guitar gnome right over here. He's going to take my guitar. Listen, I've got a mission today. It's to help you, to equip you to storm the gates of evil, liberalism, of hell itself, so that, dare I say it, the devil knows who you are. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Ooh, listen to that tone. Where's my guitar gnome? Smigol, take this beautiful instrument. You are a very good boy. I like you. You've got future with this show. Maybe one day you host, yes? Welcome to the program, friend. I have to lighten things up because things are getting so dark. If there is not just a little bit of comedic light in my own soul, I don't even know what I'll do. All right, I want to talk to you about you. Everyone's favorite topic. I was thinking the other day about some of the key players in human history, both recently and in history, far history, and your and my relationship to them. President Bush the Elder has passed away, as you know. There's a time of pondering, grieving, looking at his life. And it's really funny now to see the media speak kindly of him. They were enemies of Bush, like they've been enemies of most Republican presidents in my lifetime anyway, starting with President Reagan, going back even to Richard Nixon. But media saying nice things about him, watching Bob Dole stand, get out of his wheelchair and salute him, seeing various people come to pay their respects. Oh, God have mercy on us. President Bush the Elder gave us David Souter, who sadly upheld Roe versus Wade, did not properly vet him. When you take a look at kings and presidents, the most good and the most evil that has been done in our lifetime is from people in civil government. There's a lot of times when I listen to Christians talk or when I hear certain sermons, and you'll hear preachers talk about a guitar gnome. Could you turn the volume down on that? Are you just that ill-equipped? Yes, that's what that little knob is for. It's so hard to find good help then. So there are people in the church who really believe and even preach that it is not our duty to be involved in politics, or worse, they'll say that it's a distraction, that it's ungodly, that politics is of the devil. They'll make all these absurd and ludicrous statements. Do you know who the central figure of the Bible is outside of Jesus Christ? It's King David. King David, the psalmist of Israel. He was a musician. That's one of the reasons that I've been having an instrument on the show at the beginning, besides wanting to honor our newest sponsor, Roxy Guitar, where you can find great guitars at roxyguitar.com. But besides wanting to show off the wares of Roxy Guitar, David was a musician. He was playing music, but he also was what? A warrior, soldier, general, and then king. King. We live in a constitutional republic where we have a president, but he was the head of the civil government. The central figure of the entire scriptures was a king. His son, who wrote the Proverbs, was a king. David, one of the greatest musicians and songwriters of all time, a king. Solomon, one of the wisest men of all time, arguably the wisest except for Christ himself, a king. If you look at the book of Judges, these are civil magistrates. These are people involved in politics. These are people involved in the military. These are people in righting wrongs in civil government. In fact, take a look at Hebrews chapter 11 to see the list of the heroes of the Hall of Fame, the Faith Hall of Fame. Many of them were in civil government. And some of the greatest reformations that happened in the scriptures and that happened throughout time happened in civil government. And some of the greatest evils that have happened in our lifetime and throughout human history have happened because of civil government. Think of the Russian Revolution, where they killed the Tsar and his family and instituted communism. That was a takeover of civil government. And then civil government was used to suppress Christianity in Russia for generations. Look at the horrific revolution in Mexico, where the communists took over and killed thousands and thousands of Christians. Again, civil government. In America, the establishment of our current Constitution had in it the 3/5 clause, which said that slaves were 3/5 of a person. This gave the South a disproportionate amount of political power, and it enshrined slavery in our Constitution. This was a great act of evil, a great treachery against God, a great treachery against man, but it was through civil government. And then it took a war and an alteration of our Constitution against civil government to right that wrong, to change that evil. We live in a country that is predominantly free because of the political structure that our Christian forefathers fought and struggled for. Think about that. Those Christians who are saying, we don't need to be involved in politics, it's of the devil, blah, blah, blah. They're enjoying the fruit of Christian men, predominantly Christian men, some Christian women as well, but back then this is a time era issue. They're enjoying the fruit of Christian men who sacrificed, who suffered, and who understood that civil government and having civil government in the hands of righteous men and women was central to liberty. You want to see what civil government looks like in the hands of the godless, the ungodly, antichrists? Go to Beijing, China. Go to Tehran, Iran. Go to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Where would you rather live as a Christian? Would you rather live in North Korea or South Korea? Would you rather live in Riyadh or London? Would you rather live in Afghanistan or Texas? I mean, think this through. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. One of the most unlikely heroes in the Bible was a man named Jerubbaal. Do you know who Jerubbaal was? Jerubbaal is a phrase which means he who contends with Baal, he who fights against Baal. Baal was the demon god, or one of the demon gods that existed in ancient Israel, that was there, that predated Israel, one of the pagan gods that was around Israel and was sadly adopted into some of the Israelites' worship. All right. There's this young man, goes by the name of Gideon, who is the youngest of a family. There's 10 kids in the family, and he's the youngest. And one day, while the enemies of Israel were occupying Israel, and it was, again, a horrific, brutal occupation, they were stealing their food, God knows what they were doing to their women, Jerubbaal, Gideon, is in a wheat press, and he's threshing wheat in a wine press, rather. So a wine press is below the surface of the ground. It's someplace where you would crush grapes in order to make wine, but there's no wind in it. So here he is, he's trying to save the wheat from the enemies who were going through and ravaging the land every year and taking their food. So he's throwing up the wheat. The wheat's coming down, but rather than having the wind blow the chaff away, it's just coming right down on him. And so he's covered with perspiration, covered with sweat, and he's got chaff sticking all over his body. He's trying to thresh this wheat to save it so that his family doesn't starve. Now that's determination. And an angel shows up and says, "The Lord is with thee, O mighty man of valor." The Lord is with thee, O mighty man of valor. And he says, if the Lord is with us, then where are all his miracles, which our forefathers told us about? You know, the miracles like taking the Jews out of Egypt. So he ends up recognizing that it is in fact the Lord, and the Lord assigns him to go and to fight against the Midianites. But before he allows him to fight against the Midianites, he tells him, you've got to go and you've got to tear down the idol to Baal that is in your dad's front yard that all the people come and worship. Direct conflict with the power structure of the day. And it was also a part of their politics because he did it in the night. He got some servants, and in the night he destroyed it. And then the elders came and said, who did this? Whoever destroyed the altar of Baal, the idol of Baal, needs to be killed. And his dad said, if Baal's a god, let him defend himself. Let him kill my son. And they named him Jerubbaal, he who contends with Baal. So we see in Gideon a type of what we're struggling with today. Gideon was called to fight against the enemies, to take the gates back from the Midianites. But before he could do that, he had to destroy the idol that was in his dad's front yard. We in the church today, we in the American church, we're seeing the persistent, unending attack on Donald Trump, our president. Why? Because he's conservative. His politics about child killing, his politics about the threat of Islam, his desire to have a border that is actually secure. These are things that are important to people who understand patriotism and Christian ethics in government. These are policies that are hated by people who hate Christianity and who want child killing and who want the Democratic Party and its agenda to prevail for the next 100 years. They hate Trump. They hate what we stand for. All right? So our duty is to resist them. But part of what cripples us, I think that before God is going to let us have victory over the Midianites, if you will, is that we have so many idols in our front yard. What idols, Randall? Oh, that's easy. Idol of self-love and the love of reputation. If you and I are going to be effective in the fight against evil, we are going to be maligned. We are going to be attacked. I have been on the front page of more papers than I could count right now. And sometimes those stories have been very unflattering. Sometimes those stories have been a frontal assault on me. It's not fun, but it's the cost of doing business. And so I had to make up my mind. All right, forgive me for using myself as an example. You're going to have to make up your mind to be willing to go with Christ outside the city gate, as the book of Hebrews says, and to bear his reproach, to bear the contempt of men who are enemies of God. Jesus said, blessed are you when men hate you, revile you, cast your name out as evil, say all manner of evil against you falsely, false accusations, separate you from their company. You're blessed because that means that you're in the pursuit of righteousness. And he said, blessed are you when all these things happen to you for righteousness' sake, for his sake. He said, great is your reward in heaven. This is the way they treated the prophets who were before you. So Christ says those of us who are going to fight for what is right are going to be attacked. And if we will surrender our love, the idol, dare I say the idol of the love of our own reputation. If we will do that, then we're in a position where God can use us. And that's what God said to Gideon. Before I'm going to let you fight the Midianites, you must destroy the idol in your dad's front yard. So what idols do we have in our front yard that have to be destroyed before we can be effective to fight against evil. I feel like I'm losing my mind when I watch the news and I see what's going on and how we could prevail. We could win, but we don't have the will to fight. We don't have the courage. And I think that a large part of it is we are not willing to pick up our cross and die to ourselves and to die to our reputation. President Trump's election was a reprieve, friend. President Trump's election was a reprieve. George Bush the Elder's election from 88 to 92 was also just a little bit of an extension of the reprieve that we had under President Reagan, but things got steadily worse, and then we got Bill Clinton. So if we don't stand up and fight, if Donald Trump is taken out of the presidency, what are we going to get, friends?
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
We have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
We've been told that Muslim terrorists have hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. But Islamic art and literature tell a very different story. To know the truth, we only have to study the narrative of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, in his own words. Welcome back, friend. In the book of Acts, we see the apostles casting out demons. And clearly, this would have been a big to-do in that day. So we see the 7 sons of Sceva approach the demon-possessed man and saying, "In the name of Jesus who Paul preaches, we adjure you, come out of him." And the demons snapped around and looked at these 7 sons of Sceva and said, "Jesus we know, Paul we know, but who are you?" And they jumped. The demons made the man jump on them, and this single man, demon-possessed man, thrashed these 7 imposters, these 7 pretenders. So Paul was known in hell. They said, "Jesus we know." Obviously, demons are going to know Jesus, but they said, "Paul we know." I was taught as a young man years ago when I was in Bible school that in hell there are 2 lists. The list of Christians who are not a threat to the devil and the list of Christians that are a threat to evil in the earth. And when I say to the devil, I don't mean that we as a Christian are going to somehow dethrone Satan. What I mean is he wants certain things. Satan wants the shedding of innocent blood, okay? Abortion, child killing is demonic. It is satanic. It is literally associated with the devil himself. All right? And many people have said, I'm among them, that the closest you will ever get to hell in this life is an abortion mill. It's like a portal right to hell because it's where they're killing babies, where they're literally shedding the blood of children made in the image of God. And Jesus said of little children, he said, "What you do to a little child, you're doing to me." So an abortion mill is satanic. And we have a duty to fight evil. And Jesus said, "I'll build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it." But a gate is for defense. You're never attacked by a gate. A gate is there to protect something. And Jesus said he's going to build his church and the gates of hell will not prevail. We are called to attack the gates of hell, to break through, to rescue the innocent, to rescue the fatherless, to defend the needy. James said true religion and undefiled before God and the Father is to help the widow and the orphan, the fatherless, help the fatherless in their distress. These babies who are about to be butchered are fatherless. We have a duty to try and save them. We have a duty to fight these monstrous evils. We We have a duty to attack the gates of hell. And Jesus said, I'll build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. But if we are going to prevail, we need to attack. We need to fight. And if we're going to fight, it means that we have to surrender our pride, our comfort, our reputation, and be willing to be labeled as an extremist, as a lunatic, or any other pejorative that they want to throw at us. And if you're willing to do that, say, Lord, please use me, and then see what happens. I'll be right back. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life. Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced. Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. Welcome back, friend. I was talking yesterday on the phone with a lady who just ordered 10 copies of Muhammad in his own words. And she's been reading about Islam for years. And she said, I feel like I'm talking to people and they don't care, they don't want to know the truth. So we discussed ways in which she can have an impact. This is a professional woman in her 50s who's an accountant. She's not a crazy lady. This is a devout Christian woman who sees danger approaching and wants to fight it. She's willing to have people mock her, dismiss her, tell her that she's missing it. I'm asking you to consider what you could do. All right? And by the way, let me take a quick sudden turn. We need your help. If you're blessed by this program, if you're happy to see me encourage people to take a stand, if you know that I've been taking a stand for years, we need your help. Go to our website, randallterry.com. You can make a contribution online. You can get our address and send something in the mail. As we approach Christmas, we always have more bills, and then the new year comes and we try and close the year out of debt. And I'm talking about literally just paying for the lights, etc. Please give a contribution if you can, or go to randallterry.com or randallterryfilms.com and just order multiple copies of Muhammad in his own words and distribute them like this lady was doing. Why not? Why not? Please, please do whatever it is that God is calling you to do. Seek him and be willing to lay down the idol of your reputation and then say, Lord, use me as a battering ram on the gates of hell. God bless you.